Hi, I'm Lindsay from American Heritage Cooking, and today we're going to make caramel sauce two different ways. So next we'll make a wet caramel, and all that means is that we're going to add water and a little bit of corn syrup to the sugar before we cook it. First we're going to melt the butter and the heavy cream together, and that way when we add it to the hot caramel, it's less likely that the caramel is going to seize, because you don't want to shock it with cold butter and cold heavy cream. So in goes our butter. I also like to go ahead and just put my vanilla in here. And my salt. Makes it easier. So we're just gonna melt this. So first we'll add the sugar to the pot. And then I like to pour the water around the edges, and that just kind of decreases the risk that there's sugar crystals are going to get on the side and fall back in and crystallize your caramel. So I like to pour it around the edge. And then stir just to hydrate the sugar, and then stop, and there's no more stirring. This is how I like to measure my corn syrup. I put it in a little packet, and then I poke it, and I squeeze it out. And this way there's no waste. Make sure you get all of your corn syrup. So my butter and heavy cream have been melted, and they came to a boil, and I've just moved them off to the side. They're going to stay warm, and the sugar and water mixture has started to bubble, and it's really kind of going to town. To make sure that it cooks evenly, since we're not allowed to stir, there's no stirring of the wet caramel, then we will just give it a little bit of a swirl. This allows kind of the corn syrup to mix and mingle, and the corn syrup is there to make sure that your sugar doesn't crystallize. So you just want to give it a little swirl every now and again, because the center doesn't like to cook quite as fast as the outside. Do you see how the caramel's getting a little bit darker on the outside, and when you pull it down you get a little bit, you can see more color on the bottom? This is an acceptable time to make it. I like to take mine a little bit darker just because you get a little bit more flavor. But you can also see it, so you see it starting to smoke, and that's how you know you are there, and we are moving. And then we are going to whisk in our butter and heavy cream. Be very, very careful. Whisk constantly. That steam is very hot, and it will burn you just as much as the caramel itself. So the caramel will continue to cook as long as you have it in the pot, and so it'll keep getting darker, and even if it wasn't burned to begin with, it will be now. So this is a beautiful color. And then you just want to pour it out into something that is not hot. So you want to let it cool in a separate container. Do you see that color? That is perfection.
You can find more tips and tricks and also the recipe for wet caramel at AmericanHeritageCooking.com.